father had admitted that this morning. He'd also said there was even more to Macnaughton's plan. That he had intended to force the marriage and then kill the rest of them all and claim Macfarlane as part of Macnaughton. Macfarlane was apparently all he was really after. He wanted the extra land, soldiers and power. Marrying any of the daughters would help him achieve that, so long as the rest of the family died and couldn't lay claim to it. Macnaughton had planned to bring about those deaths the moment he had Claret to wife. Her father, Gannon Macfarlane, had explained all of this as briefly as he could, before announcing that none of them were to leave the keep until the matter was resolved. Macnaughton was too much of a threat to risk one of them being taken by the man and forced into marriage. Their father had followed that up by assuring them that he was looking into ways to handle this problem, but he needed them all to remain safely in the keep until he had taken care of it. Alisaid had spent the hours since learning this news trying to come to grips with the threat they were under, but Annis's question now brought up the other changes Claret's marriage had brought about. The main one being that she'd probably now be expected to take over the running of Macfarlane. A large undertaking she wasn't sure she was ready for. Claret had always managed that. Aye, but no for long. Alisaid barely got her sewing out of the way before her younger sister Kirstine suddenly dropped into her lap to hug her excitedly. As usual, they hadn't even heard the girl approach, but Kirstine was sneaky like that. She'd probably followed Annis to her and lurked about behind them to listen to her question. Now the 15-year-old hugged Alisaid happily and crowed, "Aye, you'll run Macfarlane until father can arrange your marriage, and Annis and Arabella's too. Then once the three of ye are off and married, I'll be running the keep, and Christine, Isla and I'll each have our own bedchamber, instead of having to share one." Alisaid pushed her sister's clinging arms away with exasperation. "Nice to ken you're so eager to see us go. But I'd no get too excited if I was you. Ye ken me marrying is no likely to happen any time soon, nor Annis and Arabella either. Da's been putting off me betrothed for years now, and he sent Annis's betrothed away just 2 months ago. He's no likely to. He sent messengers out to all 3 men to come take you 3 away to be their wives." Kirstine interrupted her to announce. "What?" Alisaid asked with shock. "Aye, what?" Annis echoed, her eyes wide. Kirstine nodded. "'Tis true. I heard him talking about it to our cousins Ollie and Alec. He sent the messengers last night just ere the wedding. Since Graham is so close, he expects your betrothed to arrive this afternoon, Alisaid," she said, and then turned to Annis to add, "But he thinks the McLaren and the McLean should be no more than a day or 2 behind if they travel quickly as he requested." Alisaid stared at Kirstine blankly, her mind having trouble absorbing this news. Alban Graham, her betrothed since she was a wee child, had been trying to claim her to wife for more than 3 years, but her father had always refused to allow the wedding until he saw Claret married. It was something her father had continued to insist on, even after their mother, Lady Macfarlane, had died 4 years ago. But since Claret's betrothed was, as far as they'd known, dead, and her father hadn't seemed to be trying to arrange another, Alisaid had begun to think there might be something wrong with Alban Graham, and her father was trying to back out of the contract. She'd worried that, like Claret, she might never marry. Only that didn't appear to be the case. It seemed she would be marrying him after all. And quite soon, too. "Are you sure?" Annis asked, looking more concerned than excited at this news. Something Alisaid completely understood. It wasn't that she didn't want to marry and start having children of her own and a home to run, but this was all so sudden and it was quite taking her breath away. She didn't know how to think or feel, and was sure Annis must be feeling much the same.